Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils and today we are talking about Mass Machine. Yeah, Mass Machine is a little bit older game from Desyllas, a Greek publisher. Right now it's picked up by quick, simple, fun QSF Games here in the United States, and that's the reason why I wanted to show it to you. It's a little bit different from the artwork. The mechanics are 100% the same, so it's exactly the same. Tom Wessel did already a review out of the original version from the Greek publisher. However, I think not from this one, so this is the new version. Let's take a look at the components first and then decide what we can do. You have these puzzles here. Each puzzle has 16 tiles, as you can see, and all these tiles here with these puzzles, they are part of the game. It's a semi-cooperative game where up to 4 players, you can see that up here, so you have red, green, yellow or blue player, and all these players try to solve this puzzle. It's a toy factory, and in this toy factory a little bit of mass is going on, so later on we will shuffle all these tiles here and shake them up to a completely new picture, and our goal is as a team to build up this complete picture to a full, good, bright picture. As a little helper you have 2 things. First of all, on each of these tiles you have a little tiny star here in the corner, so you know the orientation always. However, you don't know exactly where it is in the display. Therefore you have this booklet, this back side of this booklet, and you can see the pictures and you can use that always during the game. This is a scoring area here, and I will come around and show you a little bit the scoring area. What you have is 4 different actions, A, B, C and D. So first of all, each player will put his scoring token here, and you go up this way scoring the tokens. How do you get a score token? Every time you are putting later on a piece, let's assume these pieces are right now like this here, and you know this piece has to go here. When you swap these tiles like this here, you put at least 1 in the right correction, then the player gets a victory point. If you put like this 2 in the right orientation and the right place, you still get just 1 victory point. To do so, you have 4 different actions, as I explained before. You have 10 of each, 10 of these buttons of each color. A, for an example, means you can swap in the same row 2 that are adjacent, at least 1 of each other, this or that. You can swap them or that. That's exactly what you can do, or this. This is action A. Action B is 2 right next to each other. These 2 or these 2, but not this 2 in the middle. C is exactly the same with columns. With 1 in the middle must be free, like this, and D is exactly the same. You swap these here, but not the 2 in the middle. That's the 4 actions. Every time you're doing this, you're taking one of these tokens, and each single action has only 10 actions available. For medium or harder games, sometimes the machine messed up and you need a die and you rearrange that in the middle of the game, but we are playing today the easy version. So I will show you with 3 players the easy version of this nuclear puzzle here. When you set up the game, I'm leaving always a little bit of gaps in between, and also when I compare that, once I shuffle all of them, with the picture on the background, I'm using also the pieces that are already in the correct area and rotate them a little bit, so to remind myself these are correctly orientated already and in the right place, so I know they should not be moved anymore. However, probably they will be moved, you never know. Another thing that every people has to do is, this is the green player, this is a blue player, and this is a red player, indicated here on the back side of these tokens here. As you can see, there's a little bit of a shadow. Okay, anyway, these here, you have one with a direct button on it, the other one is an indirect button. I put the direct button right next to it just as a reminder from me. The green player picked yellow as a direct button action. What means direct button action? Every time he is using yellow action C here later on, he gets a token, like every other token as well if he picks B as well. But each token is, when the team is winning, worth 1 victory point. However, there's a different letter on it. It could be A, B or D. The person knows it, so green knows exactly what his indirect button is. And every time another person is using his indirect button, he gets 2 victory points. So I would say let's start right away, and I'm starting from green to blue and so on, and just start to play the game with you right now. I know this is not really correct orientated for you, however I think that should work as well. So he has the D, the C as an direct. However, he will use D as an action first. He gets a token for it, so we put the token here, and he's using both of this. Now both of them are correctly orientated. That is cool, so green gets a victory point. Now it's blue's turn, and usually it's helpful to divide this board into 4 different sections, lower right, lower left and so on, to see if you can work on this one a little bit more. So you know, this one here, for an example, belongs here. This is a long way, so let's start working on this. The easiest way is either to swap it here or here. Both are already in perfect order, so it's not as easy as you can see. Both of them belonging, for an example, here, so all of them is not as easy. And on top he needs to swap just one like this to make it in the right order. All of them is not easy to solve, therefore I will just take one action. But it's also D, because it helps in this case perfectly. This is now also in the perfect place, and blue gets another point. Let's take what red is doing, and now we are seeing a little bit that these could be swapped as well to make it cool. B is exactly the action he picked, so now he take a B action. So let's try to show you that this is really correctly orientated. You can see the picture starts working. However, again, you have to work around. Let's do it a little bit faster right now to make sure you are not getting bored by the game itself. So he is swapping to here, chip. This is, oh, red got a point as well, I forgot that. So this was green, and green swapped C. I assume this is the right correct order, so green gets a point. Now let's do it a little bit cooler. And he is swapping these two. Yeah, he is swapping these two here. That's D. And he put that in the correct order. So chip, he gets a point too. Hopefully I'm not doing anything super incorrect. I'm not allowed to swap both of these, just to let you know as a short reminder. So these are, this getting into this order is a little bit tricky, so I will swap both of them here for B, for this player here. Alright, none of that is in correct order, so I will swap these for C. I'm doing it a little bit more cooperative instead of really competitive, just to make sure I will solve the puzzle for you in front of the camera. It would be a shame if I cannot do it after that. So blue player is doing this and put this into direct correct order. So that was this player, he swapped C and got a point out of it. Okay, and let's take a look what red is doing. Red is this goes over there. That's a long way to go. Probably I'm swapping these two here right next to each other. That was Now let's take another action, this one here for that one. Hopefully I can do it, I don't know. And he is doing this one here. And now let's swap a little bit. This one goes here for that player, that's B. Red player gets a point. And now he gets another point. This is correct too right now. That is player C. That's green player gets another point. If you play that all by yourself, it's a little bit easier to see all of that. Right now I have to calculate everybody in my mind to get through it. That's a little bit more complicated, not too much, but just in general let you know this is a little bit complicated what I'm doing instead of what is normally doing. So this player is doing this one here, that was that player. But I think you can exactly see how it works, and this player is making this one here and places another one incorrect, so red gets another point. This should be right now correct. Let's do it like this for this player here, for D, and now here this one. Except for this one, the whole side is correct. However, it's a little bit tricky to bring that down. We have to figure out how I can do that. Probably with this detour here. And the tile I want is this one. So I need a little bit, or it gets this way. Let's do it this way. So first of all, I will plan this one here for D. Then I will swap. Oh, I cannot swap that. Oh, shoot. So probably that is not what I want. It's always a little bit tricky that you cannot do the whole thing. So let's do it like this first here, then he gets another correct one for D and also right next to each other, swapping. But as you can see, it's pretty simple what you are doing technically. It's just a little bit of, you have to think about how it works. In this game, everybody is encouraged to talk to each other so that you're really, really, really making the correct move, even if it's not as easy as it looks like. So, bloop, I hope I take the right colors always for the right persons and give them the right points. But even if not, that's not the end of the world. You will figure out that I'm doing here not probably the correct, but it's just to show you how the game works, right? So he is swapping these ones here. So now I only have to figure out how I can do this in correct. This has to go down, we already know that. So why not this player here, green, is taking this action. He's getting 1 point and he is taking this one here. And then this one has to go up, we already know that, so this is the last swap for the blue player. He gets another point for having that correct, and he got the big swap from C. So now, as you can see, the puzzle is solved, and I hope I make no real mistakes, and now it comes to the victory points. Blue has already 6, 5 for green, and red has 4. But this is not the final scoring. Now you score for each single you have correctly used as your direct button here. That's 4 for the red player, so he has 8 right now. He had this D action, so he gets 2 additional points for blue, and he has his C action. He used it twice, so he gets 2 points to the green player. But now, and more important, is this indirect button. He is interested in the other players using D, so he has 3 correct. Therefore, he gets 6 points. Just as a reminder, it's green gets 6 points, so he has 13, and that is his final score. His indirect was B. He's not looking at his, he's looking what other used, so he gets 8 points as a blue player. 8 plus 8 is 16, and he has as an indirect A, so 3 uses A as a red player, so he gets 6 more points and has 14. Final score is 16, 14 and 13. That's the whole game, and you only win if you solve the puzzle. If you don't solve the puzzle, there's another mechanism to score the game. However, then you don't score the double points, you only score simple points. That was the gameplay of Mass Machine from Quick Simple Fun. I thought it's a good idea to show you the game because it's so fast, it is so smooth, it really runs easy and simple. The only decision you have to make is this at the beginning of the game, and then it starts a little bit of poker facing. Hey, you should use this action, I should use this action to solve the puzzle. Everybody's working on that together, but not really, because you have this indirect things. So it's a semi-co-op game that really triggers a lot of buttons. Funny word game. So these buttons are usually used, and you can play that, by the way, harder. So if you play it harder later on in the game, this machine makes a mistake and you swap some tiles with this die, so you count simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This tile will be swapped with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one here, when some certain buttons will trigger. So let's go to the personal opinion of mine. First of all, as I told you, they changed the artwork. There was one puzzle in the original version with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 16 here, and this was the easy version for kids. I don't know why they took it away, and also I figured out these puzzles are far more harder than the original from the artwork, so it's really tough. You always have to double check, oh, where is it? Especially this one here with a tree. It's called Spring Puzzle. So the spring puzzle is really tough, and the cat as well. It has this tiny little corners here, which is pretty hard to see. The star for the orientation helps a lot. I wish they put it a little bit bigger or a little bit more colorful so that you know exactly what the orientation is. Always with not correct bright light, it's hard to see. Yeah, I really like the concept. The concept is cool of the game. It's really cool. It makes fun to make a puzzle and a game together in really a game. The hidden buttons you pick is also really great. However, I'm a little bit disappointed by the quality. These are okay from the thickness, that's not too bad, but here, as you can see, red buttons on red. It doesn't look really cool. The red buttons are really thin. These player buttons are really thin. It's really, if you have them flipped over, you can easily see which color you have. So that is not an issue. But having these 4 colors all over here, and it's so colorful, it's really hard to see the number of leftover buttons here. They should put a little bit more effort into design this from color-wise, and also making this a little bit easier and accessible for kids, because this is for me a perfect kids game. It could be a perfect family game. From the time length, just 20 minutes, perfect for kids. From the skills you use as a kid for solving this puzzle, perfect for kids. Also this little bit of hidden strategy is also perfectly for kids. So hey, you can use that and then you give me some points. Cool. But I don't know why they changed the artwork from kids friendly to a little bit more adultish. I don't know, honestly, and that is a little bit of a critique point when you know 2 versions of the same game. You always try to compare them. So I wish they had it a little bit different. However, I recommend it as a real cool game if you really wanted to try out to puzzle this as a party / family game, but family in brackets, they should be a little bit older. I think this age suggestions of 10 plus is absolutely correct. You should not go under just because of the hard artwork. Also, an atomic sign is probably not appealing to every kid in general. So overall, I like the idea, and I wish they put it a little bit more effort in it, a little bit more quality in it. They have some really bright moments in this. So the rulebook, for an example, is really cool. I really like that. But I don't know why they have a direct button. Usually you put the direct button onto this. It should be an indirect button to block that out, because the direct you are always using because you wanted to see what your direct is. Indirect you are not usually looking as often as direct. So why there's a button on direct and not on indirect? For me it's not intuitive. So there are these little tiny things, but as you can see I'm really looking for tiny little things I don't like. That's usually a good sign for a game because I have no major issues with it. So this is Mass Machine. You watched Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils and I hope you like this new thing where I'm showing you at least short games directly played in front of the camera and then discussing it and just discussing or showing you the rules. See you next time. Bye bye. My name is Nils and please subscribe. See you.